What's going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here. It is SPJ Live. A little bit of a different setup. You can probably tell the screen doesn't look as it normally does in the videos. And that's because my Mac display took a dive today. Or not today, but it took a dive this week. Had some electricity issues over the weekend, and thus we had to flip the breakers on our breaker box. And unfortunately, during that, something must have happened, and I can't get the damn thing to display anything more than just like the top of the screen, this little thin strip right along the top. And so thus we go back to the phone, and we have a little bit of a different setup today. And also thus the difference in the audio, the difference in the angle. I got the stuff, I was all set up to do demos today and just got way too tired to really do anything. So, and well, I'm just exhausted right now. Almost canceled on you guys, not gonna lie. But I made a promise, and thus I keep my promises. See who has joined us right now. Francisco Hartung, what's going on, Francisco? Thanks again for becoming a patron. That was so awesome of you. Hope you are helping spread the word of the channel and far and wide, and helping things keep going around here. But that was very kind of you. Thank you so much for doing that. Brian Landreth in the house. Brian, good to see you, buddy. And of course, Ben Coombs. Who wouldn't want to have Ben Coombs in the house? It's good to see you, buddy. Looking forward to our chat on Sunday. Terry's GG&G, he got that one right. Started off with a little bit of Smashing Pumpkins. That's newer Smashing Pumpkins from the Shiny and Oh So Bright album. They actually played that song for the encore of the show that I saw last year, and that was probably like... It was cool to hear all the old stuff because I'd never really heard Pumpkins in person play all the old stuff, so getting to be able to hear that was pretty cool, but the new stuff is just as good. Shiny and Oh So Bright was one of my favorite records of 2018. I don't know how many people would agree with me, but I feel that way. Yeah, Terry, it's a great song. That whole album is full of great tunes. Let's see. There's that Silvery Sometimes song, and I had learned how to play it, but there's a capo on it, and I forgot how to play it. Hey, Mickey Settlemeyer. How's it going, Mickey? Thanks for joining in for the live stream. And we got Dwight Bailey as well. How's it going, Dwight? Good to have you here. Oh, Brian's got a good question. Need some help with EL34s. Which one is the most rugged? Getting mechanical tune rattle bad in my combo. Would a Sovtech 5881 be tougher? Honestly, Brian, when it comes to tubes, the jury's out on who the best tube manufacturer is these days. Because in all honesty, they're all made offshore. So I think there's a couple factories in China, and they make like, let's see. I know Tungsol is owned by Electro-Harmonix, and they make the Electro-Harmonix tubes, and they also make Tungsol. Mickey just recommended JJ's, which I have JJ's right now in my rocker verb, and I feel like the power tubes are really robust. But I definitely feel like I might have overworked the preamp tubes just a little too much at this point, because I'm starting to notice that the clean tone just doesn't really stay that clean, and also that there's actually less gain in them when I go over to the dirty channel. My rocker verb used to have way more preamp gain sizzle, and when I changed to these JJ tubes, which are generally considered to be the most consistent and the most reliable, I have to crank the preamp gain and use a boost in front of the dirty channel in order to kind of get that high gain sound that I normally like to play with. Just to show you as an example. You know, it's still tight and it's got like that basic sound, but it's not really the thing that I got the rocker verb for in the first place. So I'm thinking about finding the Electro-Harmonix tubes that were originally in the rocker verb when I first got it, and just swapping the preamp tubes. I remember the clean channel staying a lot cleaner, and I also remember the dirty channel just having that sound. So, you know, we'll see how things go there. Yeah, Terry's got a good recommendation with those, the tube cock rings, as he says. Yeah, so I'm set up actually to film the 200th episode of Stompbox Saturday, and that includes live streams, that includes demos, that includes Stompbox Everydays, which I basically just was trying out this year as like an offshoot when, you know, big releases were coming out, and it was like, hey, we want a launch day demo, and that's not a Saturday. And so that, it's crazy to think it's been like, I've shot and edited over 200 videos just related to pedals, and I'm really happy to say that the Keeley DCR is going to be episode 200. I think that's kind of fitting, actually. I had Robert on for episode 100, and that was a really big deal for me, and that was a lot of fun. you know, getting the chance to do episode 100 at GitCon was just such a cool deal, and so much fun to be able to say I got to do that. Going through the caverns with Robert was fun. So to be able to kind of like all these years later, you know, it's only a couple years since then. You know, the Keeley Pedal's back for another milestone episode, and it's this DCR is a great one. I'm loving it a lot, having a lot of fun with it. And we're going to be doing some more stuff with Keeley as the year ends. I know Ben knows what I'm talking about. He got he got clued in a little bit, because he's no offense to you guys, you are part of the inner circle, but Ben's really in it. We swap ideas, we talk about having channels and things that we can do and all that stuff. We're going to have a good little conversation together on Sunday for a live stream. Looking forward to that. It's going to be an eventful weekend. On Saturday, I'm going to go spend the day with the guys from 60 Cycle Hum and a bunch of other guitar. Yes, Ben is part of the deep state, as it were. But I'm going to go spend some time with the guys from 60 Cycle Hum. It's their 300th episode recording party. So we're going to hang out. We're probably going to record a little segment for the 300th episode. Gonna have some fun with that, just hang out in general with those guys and hang out with some of their other fans. It's a good group of guys, and I like being a part of that. You know, it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Sounds really good. And I have something cool to show you guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! I got a new chair. That chair arrived on Monday. And it's comfy. It doesn't look like it's going to be comfy, but it's comfy. That's awesome. Brian, what amp do you have? I didn't know you had a PRS amp. NCD, new chair day. Yeah, Brian, I needed that chair, like, bad. Sanzera 50. Actually giving away a Sanzera 50 at the LA Amp Show this past weekend. which proved to be quite an interesting event this year. It's a lot smaller than it has been in the recent past, and I came across some cool stuff. PRS was there, so I got to reconnect with Bobby, who's the West Coast sales rep for PRS, as well as Brian Ewald. He does a lot of their video stuff, but he and I first hooked up at the very first GitCon. So he was introducing me to a bunch of different models. I played the Silver Sky for quite a long time. There's also a really cool single cut McCarty 594. Those new SEs for 2020 are looking really nice. And I even got the chance to play the JMod 100 amplifier, and holy crap, that amp is $6,000, but I want that amp. Like, that amp through a 212 cab, it has an effects loop that, you know, is for all your time-based stuff, because that's kind of what John does these days with his rig. And then you have a clean channel, which is just big, fat, and loud. But it takes pedals really, really well. Drive pedals, I brought the Retrohead Effects Toxic Fuzz to plug into that, and that sounded fantastic through it. The overdrive is very cool. It's a post EQ, so a post tone stack gain stage. So it works in a completely different manner than your typical kind of overdrive channel, but it sounds so good. I plugged the main Les Paul. Yes, they let me plug a Gibson into a PRS amp, and the Silver Sky into it, and both of them just sounded absolutely killer. Had a lot of fun with that. It was great to hang out. They let me kind of just do what I wanted to do and have all sorts of fun. And then next door to them was Yamaha. And I got to play some of the newer Rev Stars, which played fantastically well. I played a Helix for the first time, and I was kind of messing around with some of the stuff and just seeing like what I could do and what I could get out of it. And I actually really enjoyed it. I was playing it through the, what was it? The Power Cab, I think it was. Ah, new viewers! Doug J is in the house. How you doing, Doug? Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Look, from the UK. Holy crap. Man, it's late. Or early. I don't know, but regardless of the fact, welcome. Ah, and Francisco's back. Yay. But those, the Helix, I was really pleasantly surprised by how good it felt. Paired it up with a couple different Rev Stars, and it was like, damn, pretty good. I like it. Played the new version of the THR amplifiers. Guys, I'm telling you, that was like one of my favorite things of the show. That THR, the new versions of that, they sound absolutely legit. Played the 20 watt and the 30 watt model, and the 30 watt model filled the room. And it felt great, and it had the, you know, it has the built-in Line 6 wireless receiver. The transmitter charges when you plug it into the THR. It just felt so good. You know, it really sounded awesome, and so I'm hoping, you know, through some of the talks that I had with some of the guys at Yamaha and Line 6, that we'll be seeing some of that stuff on the channel as we close out the year, but we're still in the very beginning of stages of that. But maybe you can help me with that. You know, contact Line 6 and Yamaha and tell them that, hey, Sean Pierce Johnson's your guy. If you want, we want to see good videos of your stuff, and we want Sean to do them. So if you want to feel so inclined as to do that, be my guest. What else did I see at the amp show that was really cool? Oh, I came across a new guitar company called Electrophonic Innovations. Really interesting concept. They've got this really nifty single cut style guitar. Kind of has a little bit of a, I would kind of call it a historic futuristic vibe to it. Kind of seems like the future that we thought would exist when it was the 50s and the 60s. So it's got a little bit of that 1950s sci-fi vibe to it with the single cut. A little bit of an offset waist to it. But what's really cool about it is that it has a built-in guitar amp and preamp, as well as built-in analog delay and analog chorus. And it basically works that on the lower part of the body, you have the main speaker that the dry guitar tone comes out of. And then they have a smaller 2-inch speaker where you would normally find the pickup switch on like a Les Paul. So the big speaker, everything comes out down here. Up here is a speaker that's dedicated for the analog delay and the chorus. So you actually have like a built-in wet-dry amplifier set up. And it sounds really good. You can do cleans, you can do overdrives. The controls basically allow you to set the amount of gain that you get, the volume going into that gain stage. So it's just it was a really fun, really cool idea that actually sounded good. Because I don't know about you guys, but most often, if I run into a guitar with a built-in amplifier, I'm never impressed. They always end up sounding kind of tinny, nasally, you know, those typical adjectives that you hear. We're drinking Stone Enjoy by 1031-19 IPA. Enjoying that for myself. Oh, it's good. But yeah, it was really cool. They are local, so they're based in Inglewood. It's like 45 minutes to an hour away. So maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to arrange some sort of demo and review so that you guys can actually hear it. It'll be a bit different than hearing it in person because that's obviously how it's going to sound best. But I think that we'll be able to work something out where you'll actually be able to get a quality video off of it, and keep the microphone in one position, and we're not going to have the camera follow me around and you hear that weird whooshing phase effect. That's good stuff. Yeah, there was quite a few cool things at the AMP show this year. Another one of which is I filmed a panel called The Player's Paradise. We actually have one of those from, I don't know, it wasn't last year, it was a couple years ago, with Carl Verheyen, Neely Brosh, and I think Josh Smith was on that one. There were a few other guys on there, but their names escape me. But this year, man, it was heavyweight session. We had Joe Bonamassa, Elliot Easton from the Cars. We had Jeff Coleman from Cosmo Squad, Glenn Hughes, and a bunch of other stuff. Chad Smith's Bombastic Meat Bats. Phil X ended up coming on last minute as an added bonus. That was pretty cool. And Eric Steckel joined in as well. For those of you who haven't seen Eric, I got to hear him play in person, and just fucking blew me away. Like killer heavy blues through high gain tones, like definitely something up my alley. And JP Cervoni, who I actually knew back in my days going to MI, but I never really knew like much about him. Other than that, he played left-handed and still strung his guitar like it would be if you just took your right-handed guitar and flipped it lefty. So his low E was where the high E should be. That's mainly what I know. And then there was one other guy. His name escapes me, but he was totally like this totally cool old cat. You know, like African American dude, but played with a bunch of people like the Jacksons. He's played with a bunch of other people as well. But he had some killer stories about, you know, like coming up as a black musician in the Deep South. It was really kind of eye-opening shit. So I hope to have that edited together so that you guys will be seeing that in the next couple of weeks. I don't really know how things are going to go at this present moment because in addition to the stuff that I'm filming right now, there's a lot of other stuff to edit. There's a lot of other things to get to. Last night, I had a big old late night demo filming session with my buddy Dakota from Dakota's Cool Guitars. You're going to be seeing a couple videos from our first meeting in the coming weeks. I need to make a few edits to the final versions of those. But he brought over a wealth of vintage pedals last night, just as he did it the first time. But we went in with a little bit more concise plan, and we knocked out a few cool things where you'll be seeing some super cool and super rare old school electro harmonics pedals. We did a 3-way shootout between an OG Silver Screw Boss CE2, Keeley modded CE2, and my way huge Blue Hippo analog chorus. So I'm looking forward to sharing those with you guys. It was a really busy week. And then the DCR we got coming up. The Big Joe Stompbox Company Tremolo demo as well as the Maris Hydra, the Nux JTC Pro needs to be filmed, as does the Nux Mini Studio. There is a shit ton of stuff that needs to be shot, in addition to the 2 bootlegger guitars. But I'm gonna need to get those worked on. They need the action adjusted. It's a little high right now. But it's there's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming up. Sadly, because some of that is kind of in the working stages right now and not 100% finalized, there's not going to be an episode of Stompbox Saturday this weekend. I'm really burnt out right now and just can't get something ready before the weekend. And quite frankly, I need some time to relax. I need some time to chill. Because as soon as I film this next round, it's just going to be edit everything and just schedule it out and hope that I don't have to film that much stuff coming up. But I'm looking forward to showing you guys a lot of these videos. There's a lot of unique things coming up right now. You know, I was talking to my wife earlier today. We went to the beach and took a walk, and I was saying, you know, the last few years, it's always around this time of year that I start to get really burnt out, and where I kind of like don't really want to do this anymore. Because it's so much work. There's so much involved planning and filming and editing and uploading and doing all this stuff that at the end of it, it just kind of days start to blur together, and you lose complete track of what you're doing. Like, I feel like I have so many balls in the air and eggs in the basket. I don't know what way is up and what way is down some days. But hopefully this stuff will be good, that you guys watching right now will enjoy it. Anybody watching the replay will enjoy it, and anybody who comes to the channel and is new to this whole thing, that they'll enjoy it as well. I'm certainly hoping that to be the case. It seems like the Session Man went over pretty well with you guys. Thank you for that turnout. That was really amazing. Was not expecting a pedal like that to get as much play as it did, and yet it did, and that's pretty awesome. I know Josh shared it on his Facebook, which was kind of fun. I do want to just bring this up because it was brought up in a Facebook group that I shared it into. Like, way to go with the clickbait title, you know, mentioning Josh's name in the title, you know, to try to get some views. And you know what? Like, full disclosure, yeah, I did put his name in the title because I knew it was gonna get me some views within the algorithm. YouTube is a piece of shit half the time. They deliver content in a very stupid way, and sometimes they change it on a weekly basis. So when you come across a method that actually helps the video that you spend a lot of time working on to get some views, like, you got to do it. And thankfully for me, I've known Josh long enough that he's not necessarily a guy that's gonna care if you bring up his name, and is not gonna care. He's a public figure. He knows that he's up for public scrutiny, and ever since the first time I met Josh in person, I felt like we could get along and that we could talk. And if he had a problem with me putting his name in the title, he would have said something to me. He's not going to just passive-aggressively do something about that. As a matter of fact, I think his stamp of approval of it was the simple fact that he took the link to this video that I put his name just in the title in, and gave him a little shout out too, but that he actually shared the video with people on his Facebook. So I don't think that that's anything that's not a problem. He clearly didn't have a problem with it, so don't fight battles for him that don't exist. Thanks, Brian. I don't have boobs, and I'm pretty sure that boobs would get me banned. But, you know, such is the way of things. Ah, hey Eric, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you here on the live stream. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just, you know, this time of year, it's mostly, it gets to a point where you're contacting companies throughout the year to try to get work, right? And after a certain point, you get to this moment where you realize how much work you're putting in, and it's really not coming and returning, and you just get tired. You just get burnt out. It's not any like real big problem. It's just a little feeling. It passes. It always does. And I'm hoping as things start to really move forward, and especially as we lean into NAMM, which I have some different ideas about things to do for content for NAMM this year that aren't your typical NAMM video. Hoping that everything just really works out. And Eric has turned into the pedalboard Jedi, for those of you not keeping track. How do you repair a broken jack-o'-lantern? This isn't a dad joke, is it? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Eric. Oh my god, with a pumpkin patch. Oh god. Oh. I can't do that one. Let's plug back in. So yeah, it's been a very eventful, interesting time. I am having a lot of fun with the videos that are fun, and I do stress when the videos are stressful. All NAMM content will be Sean, Aaron, myself, and others, likely not sober, as long as there's a driver. I can work on to build speed. Shredders get all the girls. Really? Is that so? Well, here's something kind of simple that you can do. Kind of copied this from the Paul Gilbert Intense Rock stuff. So you have this pattern on the B and E string. Pretty simple, nothing fancy, but it's parallel enough that you can start to use it to work on your left-right hand dexterity and coordination. So you basically just go like... Or you can vary it up by going... Come up with little combinations, and then slowly but surely start to build up your speed to where it's... And then you just kind of, depending on... You know, just all that entire Intense Rock 1 instructional video from Paul Gilbert is basically an exercise in speed. John Petrucci's Rock Discipline, that's another one. So I would suggest go searching out tabs and videos from those books. I think those are the ones that you need to look for. But lately, my concern has been, I've definitely had the left-right hand dexterity thing going on, and coordination. Just really being able to play certain passages cleanly. Working on muting, things like that. Practice for me lately has been a lot of like taste, a lot of touch, dynamics, and just kind of trying to figure out what it is that makes playing tasty, I suppose I could say. I just find myself leaning towards really wanting to make sure that the stuff that I play, because in the band I don't always play leads. I'm mostly playing riffs. Trying to figure out changes as well. Brian, in my experience, building up speed actually hurts your playing being smoother when you play slow. Um, I've known some really great kids that have been shredders over the years. I went to school with a lot of shredders, and there's one thing that they had a very hard time doing, and that was actually playing something of substance that sounded really good. Um, Playing slow was always a challenge for them because they ended up rushing the beat. They ended up being ahead of the drummer or the metronome and thus throwing off everybody. Speed doesn't correlate one way or the other. If you want to practice playing faster, you need to practice playing faster. If you want to practice slow passages and playing like a slow blues or something like that, just getting real feelsy with your playing and the notes and like really meaning what you play, you need to practice in that context. Neither of the two work inversely. Especially, you can't build speed playing slow, but you also can't build playing slow by playing fast. Those two just don't correlate. You're never going to get at a bend like this by practicing shredding. It's just not going to happen. The only way that that's going to happen is by you literally sitting in a chair and going. You just got to sit there with it. You just gotta sit there and do it, and I'm even hearing things like, I'm getting close, but it's just not right there. So another thing to sort of just take a breath, sit with, and try to get better at. That's an interesting point, Brian, about the slow is fast, fast is slow kind of thing. But I think it's more with like the context, especially with like handgun training, because it's like, if you're talking in that kind of thing, you have to think about the situation in which you would actually need to use a gun. And sometimes if you think too slowly, you're probably dead. But if you act too quickly, it could be just as detrimental. This sounds so good. Yeah, the take your time, hurry up thing. Yeah, that works in that situation, but unfortunately with guitar, there's just no shortcuts. Oh, dearie, that was funny. Hey, RJ, long time no see, man. mindless nonsense, really. No, RJ, no new strats, no super strats in the collection yet. Actually sold my strat. I wasn't playing it. It's just sitting in the closet and it just didn't sound stratty enough. I have my eye on the Silver Sky still, but I did get a chance to play a really cool looking 54 Stratocaster, which basically just ruined all Stratocasters for me. And there's no way I am paying $50,000 for a guitar. But a buddy of mine who's been on the stream a couple times, Miguel, he did just start working at Schecter, and I did play the Nick Johnston signature a couple years back and was really impressed with those. And now that they have the Diamond Series version out, I'd like to get one of those into the studio and see how it does. So, you never know. Stuff might happen. You never know. Hoping that we can work something out. I did get a chance to play some of the newer Yamaha Pacificas, which played really great. Those were really nice. But yeah, as of right now, nothing new in the collection. The only thing that's gotten added to the collection has been the Epiphone Jotun Les Paul Custom. You know, I'm hoping we can do some more Epiphone here on the channel as the year closes out. I do need to talk to Aljon about that, see what we can work out. But yeah, nothing yet, but maybe soon. We'll see. We'll see. Not 100% certain on that. Good solid stuff. Mickey, thanks so much for joining in, my friend. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you have an awesome weekend. We'll see you real soon, okay? Oh, Terry. Thinking about doing a pick guard for a fat strat setup with a Duncan distortion in the bridge, but still have no idea what I want in the middle and neck. Would you want single coils or humbuckers? Answer that. What pickups in the bridge of the Gibson? RJ, it's the JB. Pretty classic. Hard to beat it. Sounds really good. You know what, Eric? I think that you can actually go on the Seymour Duncan website and you can actually get some recommendations for pickup pairings. I seem to remember being able to do that, but I don't know 100% for certain. So go check that out. See if that is something that you can do. They generally have pretty good write-ups on their pickups, so you should be able to find something that works well for you. Keep in mind that the distortion is a pretty like hot kind of pickup, so you'll want a single coil to kind of match that. And I think if you buy through Seymour Duncan, they actually give you like a time period to test it out, and if you don't like it, you can either return it or you can actually get your money back. So consider that. Just check out their website. I'm sure that there will be some good recommendations. The Lawler Imperials are really good, though. I did a demo for Map Guitars a couple years ago, and they had Lawler Imperial high winds in them. Those sounded great. An Igve pickup too excessive? No, more is more. Well, kids, it's about that time. You know what I mean? We've hit our hour mark, and I'm going to go chill out with the wife for a few hours before conking out and going to sleep, and hopefully getting some work done tomorrow. I just want to say thank you to all you guys for tuning in to the live show this week with the little bit of a different setup. I hope you didn't mind it. Wasn't 100% certain if I was going to do this, but this actually was really fun for me to do and kind of cathartic. So thanks so much for the experience. It definitely helped me out a bit. I want to say a big thanks to Ben for doing the mod duties, and I will be talking to you this weekend, buddy, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's been far too long. And to all of you guys who have jumped on the live stream, either your first time joining tonight, or if you're continually watching, whenever you choose to watch this, I always appreciate it, and I would appreciate if you would bring more people into the fold next week and in the weeks to come. Hopefully we can start to grow this community bigger and better than it is right now, because we got a great bunch of guys in here, and some girls as well, and that's really cool to see, and I hope we can continue to do so. So, I'm sure I will be seeing some of you on Ben's live stream this Sunday. I'm really looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys there. Hope you guys all have an awesome weekend, and I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel right here. Please do click the link to go to the Patreon page and support the channel. Click the subscribe button, ring the bell, turn on the notifications, and come back for more videos. Stompbox Saturday will return next weekend with episode 200. And until then, my friends, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson, wishing you all out there great tone and happy stomping. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next time.